how'd you come up with this? And I'm gonna let everybody know I cheated already. I've spoken with Scott in the past about it. It's an awesome thing. I'm gonna let you go in on it, talk about it, let us know how you came about it, because I think that story is even better than the actual tip of the spear. The fact of how he even came up with it, I think is an awesome story. So go ahead, Scott. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Yeah. So no, I got out of football. Actually, before I got out of football, I had some injuries. I had multiple. I was on injured reserve 4 years out of 7.
Wow.
And just because I had it's the same injury kept repeating itself. It was an ankle injury. So what I did was I got frustrated at doing the hand bike, which is what you do when you can't walk in the NFL training room. And I thought, I'm going to do Jiu Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
What?
Yeah.
And you got a bum ankle, and you gonna go roll.
I'm going to go roll. You know why? Because you can do it. Because it's one of those things. It was like I've always been intrigued by it. I used to watch. I watch UFC and you watch these guys like Hoist Gracie, the little guy, beating the big guy. You're like, what is this? Something to this, man. I mean, that's serious stuff. And I don't. And it's totally counterintuitive to what we were just talking about. Bigger, faster, stronger versus the skill level. Absolutely. These guys are winning on skills. And they're calm and all this stuff. But I thought, hey, that might be a cool thing to do while I'm down, because I was down for months at a time. So I got involved with jiu-jitsu, and I got humbled by it, in which everyone will. Anyone that ever tries it will get humbled by it. Nobody's good at it when you start. And again, I was one of the strongest players in the league. I benched like 600 pounds.
Wow.
And so I walk in. Yeah, right. So that's great if you're
playing football.
Yeah, or I don't even know if it helped me for football, to be honest, because I was like bound up. But I got to say, I got into this gym, right, in Charlotte, and when I was with the Panthers, and I started rolling around with these guys that were bankers, man, and like 65-year-old guys sticking me in arm bars, and I'm tapping them like, what was that? And but it was cool though. It wasn't like it was enlightening. Well, actually, I shouldn't say enlightening. It was eye-opening. I recognized, oh, there's something different going on here. I enjoy it. I mean, initially it'll test your ego. It'll show you how little you are,
right?
And how little you know. And no one ever did that to me in football, like that bad, where you're physically tapping out, and there was no force, and I couldn't do anything about it. And they're not using brute force or mass to win,
right?
So I kind of looked at that, and I thought that's pretty cool. And in my career, what I thought was over, I continued to roll and do jiu-jitsu, and I thought I'm going to open up an MMA facility. Well, I started that process, and I continued training, and ended up getting an opportunity to come back and play again, continue to play, even though what they labeled a career-ending injury. I was able to recover that from jiu-jitsu, just from when you're on your back, you're on the ground, your feet, you develop these, it was an ankle issue I had, so a lot of issues with that, with the surgery, the recovery. But what you do is you develop this like dexterity of your feet.
Wow.
You develop this proprioception, and like your feet become like hands, you're grabbing. So all these little things that I was doing, yeah, it's cool. And I got to say, like, man, I had no ankle pain. I came back and played 2 more years and finished for the Cardinals, the Super Bowl. And then I retired, but I retired into a business that I started, which was called Fight Ready. It's an MMA training facility in Scottsdale, which I have since sold. But I wanted to build an MMA Academy because I thought this is cool. Jiu-Jitsu is cool. I mean, MMA, UFC is coming up. All these fans that are watching it that don't want to fight might want to come and do some training with high level instructors. And then I thought, I'm really a competitive guy. I want to build a fight team too.
Right.
Of guys that can go around and win and have the best of all worlds. You don't have to go into a gym and think, you're a normal person that doesn't want his face bashed in or something. It doesn't want to have like a dirty mats. They want a professional environment where everybody, all the different walks of life, like from kids to professional fighters to women, anyone that wants to do this, do it. So I built that out, and I brought in, and I wasn't I wasn't a martial arts quote unquote expert, but I had to become one. So I brought in, and I knew that I want to be some football player that like runs an MMA gym. I want to be an expert in my own right, and I want to have some credibility in that field. So I just immersed myself into it, and I started competing in jiu-jitsu. Wow. Before that, I actually brought in a lot of the best guys I could find from around the world to teach our students. And so I just became a student myself, and I was there all day long, and I got fortunate to learn quickly, and I was able to start competing and win in jiu-jitsu. I did well. I won a couple world championships in that, and I got out in front of, I beat some top level guys that that then I started getting calls from UFC fighters asking if I can come to their training camp and train them for ground fighting. You know, guys like Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez, these are UFC champs that I would train with.
Wow.
Yeah. So at
That's
that point,
crazy, Scott.
yeah, it's crazy. So I found myself in this new world, right? And I'm like 50 pounds lighter, not lifting anymore, but I'm immersed into this thing. And I found like, okay, I kind of hit my goal because I got to that level where I was like, okay, I'm respected in this thing. You know, I've achieved something here. But what I really did at that time, it was all kind of around 2010, 2011. And there's all this talk about concussions and CTE going on.
Yeah.
And as a retired player, you're like, what? Like, what have we done to ourselves? Like, you can't help but get concerned about it. When you see friends or guys that, you know, you hear about guys that are a little older that are going through it. You just go, man, I don't know what this is. It's scary. But I thought, I always had this like intuition about me when I was playing about, hey, man, you don't want to be hitting your head too many times, you know? And I don't know that was that. I mean, you know, doctors can't say for certain, but, you know, no one's ever going to say, you can make a case. The issue with the brain is that it's subjective. It's everything's so subjective. How are you going to make a case to say that this guy wasn't damaged by it? Because it's very hard to quantify.
Correct.
But we know that it's probably not good anecdotally to hit your head too many times, you know?
Absolutely.
So just as an idea. And I think that for me, it was where it weighed on me. But what I started to look at was mechanics of fighting, the way that these little guys can take a big guy and throw him around, the way that these guys enter the cage, the octagon, the ring, how they do it, not just in the mechanics of it, the power that they can generate, the force that they can generate, and the body control that they have. They're not out of control. The best guys in the world are the calmest guys with the best mechanics. And power is a result of optimal mechanics plus speed, not brute force. So when I started to look at that, because I saw boxing coaches, Roy Jones Jr., we hired his coach, and he showed me this stuff. I'm like, wow. He's like, the knockout doesn't come from brute force. It comes from optimal mechanics, and all you do is dial up the speed, man. I'm like, that makes sense to me. And then I started to look at that, and I see the way these guys, they don't charge at you with their head down. You know how they stay safe in there? Skill development. So you want to walk out of that cage or that ring in one piece and attack, then you want to protect yourself. You don't have a helmet for that. You got your skills. And so they drill and drill and drill. So the mechanics, the biomechanical element of it, plus the approach in terms of the way they operated, the way they worked, the drilling, because it has to become automatic second nature, that these guys level up all their skills. And I called the gym Fight Ready because it was a deal where it was very important to me that we will not let anybody go into that contest unless they're ready. And we had a very, very good success rate of winning at our facility, at our gym. We have world champions there. Henry Cejudo is one of them. He's a UFC multi-belt holder. We had those guys come in, but we held a high standard of teaching. And I thought, wow, football is not doing this, right?
Not at all.
So I got hired by the University of Washington. I know, and I'm coming from that world going, man, this is like crazy. I got kind of shared, I saw this other world, and I got a chance to really learn it. So I'm unique in the sense that I know there's been football teams have hired martial arts guys, right, in the past. And when they hire those guys, they come in and show things that are maybe there's a correlation between a move or a strike and football, but it's not direct. So I thought, well, how do you bridge that gap? How do I efficiently optimize my body, my biomechanics, so I can operate with the best integrity from a power standpoint, and then basically break down the opponent, attack him where he's weak. And then why would I ever charge at a man with my helmet? Because now my hips remain behind my body. All coaches say, come on, use your hips. Well, your hips are back there, man. You ain't driving anybody with your hips if your head's in front of you. No, that's what I'm going to do with your hands. Then you have the shoulder impacts, which happen all the time, where why would you ever want to hit a guy head down the middle? That's where the most force exists. And it also ensures helmet contact. So I'm oversimplifying, as you know, but the ideas, the concepts just weren't intelligent the way we were going about it. It was bigger, faster, stronger, hit harder. And when I realized, like, man, I don't care how big, fast, or strong I am, I'm getting beaten and embarrassed by small guys that have skills in this other realm. So what if we applied this mentality toward football? That's basically what kind of initiated the inspiration, or at least got me thinking. And then I started working with football, and I found my passion for football again, where I kind of took a hiatus, you know? And I was able to kind of give back in that way. So I started this company called Safe Football. In 2012, I sold my gym. I'm like, I'm going all in on this. because we had some great numbers coming out of Washington, up at University of Washington. I trained their offensive line and defensive line over 2 seasons there. Just, it wasn't like I didn't even get paid for it. I just did it because my college coach was there. He said, train him. And I did. And I went up there both years and implemented all these drills for them. The kids loved it. The players loved it. But what was really unique about it was the success that they had as players on the field. Obviously, you got to win. If the stuff I was teaching wasn't helping, no one's bringing me back. Because they get fired or whatever. But that was a benefit, and all the guys loved that. And they saw they had the top offense in school's history. They were second in sacks, in the NCAA that year. Those years, they also had here's the thing that was really the thing that made me completely revamp my whole perspective and change everything about where my path was, that there were 0 concussions and 0 stingers reported for those players for the first time in the school's history. So I said, I literally didn't even flinch. I just made a decision. I'm selling my gym. I'm going out to help the game and help mostly not the game, the people. Because the people are the game. The people are more important than the game. You know why? We love the game, but it's the people. Because guys like us who play, we started on the playground. We didn't start in the NFL. Right. And there's kids out there doing it, but there's also a movement to try to scare everybody away from doing it. And I do think the game is good. It's good for us. It's just there's a better methodology to it. Would I go back and do the same way I did it? No, because I know better. So now my job is to communicate that and share that information with others and help drive a new, paradigm shift in the way we approach football, and not to take away the physicality, not to make this game lack any integrity that made it interesting to the fan, but also fun for the player. The physicality should be there, but you just don't need to use your head. Just like I say, hey man, you don't use your head to move furniture in your house, do you? It's your operating system. So we want to use the think and to innovate and to develop ourselves, and then we have other things we can hit people with. So